What's up, everybody? Mortgage rates. Are they going up? Are they going down? But even potentially more importantly, are mortgage fee structures actually working against people who actually have good credit and work very hard to maintain their credit, as opposed to helping people who maybe don't take their credit as serious? That's what this video is about, and much more, guys. When I say much more, I mean a lot more. So you will be in for a treat today as we're covering, if you're Everything Phoenix. I mean, that's a pun because our YouTube channel is called Everything Phoenix, but we're really going to cover what feels like everything happening here in Phoenix. It is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening in Phoenix, guys. It is not one of these cities or towns across America that just kind of has a couple things going on here or there. Phoenix has a lot going on. So we're going to hit all of that right now. So you're in for a wild ride. Get your popcorn, strap your seatbelt up, and we are going to go about 100 miles per hour here. Okay. I'm going to try to talk a little slower today. So you may have to go, potentially if I keep going this speed, maybe go down to like 0.75 speed on this YouTube video, but I'll do my best here to not get so excited about everything Phoenix, guys. Let's jump right in. I'm gonna share my screen, but before I do, guys, let us know where you're calling from or watching from, I should say. If you don't mind, put it the city state in the comments if you get a chance. Ask a question, make a comment. What do you think about these things happening in Phoenix? What do you think about what I'm talking about? Is it real? Is it relevant? Do you care? I'd love to know, because I can guarantee if you're thinking it, probably someone else is too. So thank you very much for joining us here today. We will not waste your time. It will be action packed, and you will walk away going, wow, what in the world is going on in Phoenix? I am very educated now because I listened to the show. So here we go. We're going to jump on this, and I'm going to share my screen as I always do. And we're going to talk about the hot topic right now, which is the feds roll out new mortgage fee structure. This is not just the Phoenix, right? This is across the country. But here's who will benefit and who could face added cost. Okay, so this article goes on, and I got a couple articles on this, but it goes on to talk about that the Federal Housing Finance Agency, there are Fannie Mae and there's Freddie Mac, right? Both GSEs, government-sponsored entities that have obviously government influence over them. They have raised mortgage fee structures to the structure of some of the mortgage fees to incentivize home buying. But there is some controversy with this, guys. I don't know. A lot of people don't like it. So here you go. The long-time fees, known as loan level pricing adjustments, they have historically ranged from 0.25 to 0.3 or 3%. So guys, let's just pause here for a second. What we're talking about. So what we're talking about here is when you go to get a loan, a mortgage on the house you're going to purchase, there are fees that you have to pay. Now, either you're going to pay some of them at, with a check right there or a credit card, or you guys still do checks? Checks, that's so 1997, right? But you wire, you have money you bring to the table for closing costs that are associated with your mortgage. Or you can absorb some of these fees into your interest rate. So a par interest rate that you would be offered normally based on your financial background, what you have going on with your, all your proof of your finances, debt, etc., par would be here. Then your rate might be just a little bit above that to cover some of these costs and these fees. Or if you wanted to try to absorb all of the costs and additional costs, it could be even higher. So maybe if you're at 6.5%, maybe your fee that you would be offered based upon your financial picture would be 7%, or as just an example. Those are loan level pricing adjustments. If you are not a paper, if you don't have the best of all these different criteria that a lender looks at when you go to get a mortgage, like debt to income ratio, FICO score, otherwise known as credit score. Do you have reserves in your bank account? All these different things. If you don't have these things, if you're putting down 5% as compared to 10% or 20% or 25%, then you get a better rate. That's just how it works traditionally. Well, that's kind of all out the window now to an extent, because the federal government is now actually increasing your loan level pricing adjustments, your fees, if you have a better credit score, if you have less debt, believe it or not. This is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling with this one here. Yet, if you have a lower credit score and maybe a higher debt to income ratio, then you might have your fees go down. Now, the whole concept behind this is that they want to encourage and spur more homeownership. And how do they do that? They do that by helping people who maybe don't have as much, as good a financial picture and background, um, get into homes and make it more affordable for them at a time when rates are higher and it's not that affordable. Well, the only problem with that is you have a lot of people who have worked very hard over the years to keep their credit score up and to pay their bills on time. And now they potentially, for doing that, will have to pay a higher fee when they go get their mortgage. So that's not necessarily the right thing either, I don't think. That all being said, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to read, hit the highlights of this article. Okay. So with the higher credit scores, while those with the higher credit scores will still ultimately pay less, it reduces the spread between them, according to Peter Isaac, attorney at residential law firm, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So the major issue facing many home buyers with low credit scores is that there simply aren't enough houses on the market they can afford, even accounting for lower LLPA fees. Fannie Mae runs the risk that the improved pricing won't be enough to move the affordability needle for borrowers with lower credit scores, but instead will cause prospective buyers with higher credit scores to hit the pause on a new home search, hoping that rates will decline later this year. Okay. How dramatic are the savings for those with lower credit scores? It could be as much as 2%, according to Andrew Hall. Those with higher credit scores could end up paying as much as 0.75% more. The logic from regulators appears to be that those with higher credit scores can afford the price hike in exchange for improving mortgage fees for low-income buyers. But some of those people question how well this will work in practice. There's concern that we may see a large number of low credit buyers get themselves into mortgages that they ultimately can't afford and end up losing their shirts, which is a serious concern, Hall said. Guys, that sounds eerily familiar with the mortgage crisis of the Great Recession that followed 2008 when the market crashed. Why? Because it was the same good intent that they would give people 100% loans. You don't have to make a down payment. You can get a first loan at 80% and a second loan at 20%. You don't put anything down, zero. And on top of it, you can just state your income. Or even worse, a no doc loan where you don't have to provide anything and just state it. So, for example, loan officer says to borrower, "Hey, Mr. Borrower, what do you make a year?" And let's say the borrower makes, $25,000 a year, but he says he makes $100,000 a year. And so that's what he says. So the mortgage loan officer writes it down on the application, and that's what it is. That goes to underwriting with no proof. This is how it was in 2007 and 6. For those of you who weren't around at that time, this is crazy. Now, this is not that. Thank goodness. But it has the same. It's starting out with the same intent, guys. I was doing real estate since 2005, 18 years. I saw what was happening. I'm not saying this is going to happen because I don't believe this will happen. Let me say it loud and clear. I do not believe anything remotely close by that, for the record, is going to happen as what did in 2008 and what ensued, because the fundamentals of the housing market and the economy are just completely different from that standpoint. However, this is not necessarily the best thing, because this concern here is if a low credit, buyer gets themselves in a mortgage they can't afford because they were able to pay less fees to get that mortgage. Ultimately, that is not good, because then obviously they can't pay their mortgage, and then a short sale occurs, or maybe a foreclosure, and so on and so forth. That's like, the worst thing that could happen. That's that's being juicy. I'm being juicy right now, right? I'm trying to, clickbait, whatever, right? That's probably not going to happen. But nonetheless, is it equitable to the person who worked really hard to get a good credit score to have to pay more just to help subsidize somebody who maybe didn't really work on their credit score, or maybe work really hard to pay all their bills on time in the past? I don't know. That's what you decide. I would love you to comment below and let me know what you think about that. I guess it could be controversial. I don't know why it really should be. It's great and it's noble to try to get somebody who may have not a great credit score and a higher debt to income ratio into a house, but at the same time, at the benefit, or excuse me, at the penalization of someone else that's worked hard. I don't know that that's the right way to go about it. Nonetheless, that's where we're at. Okay. So what I want to do is give you a example of what this actually looks like. So we're going to pull this up, this article from CBS here. Okay. And here's kind of what it says. All right. So we all know this here. The FHFA is recalibrating the fee structure for LLPA starting on May 1st, blah, blah, blah. The spread of those fees between low and high credit borrowers won't be as big. Okay, here we go. For instance, starting next month, a home buyer with a credit score between 640 and 659, this is after May 1st, which has already occurred, okay, considered quote unquote fair, and who has a down payment of 5% will incur an LLPA of 1.5%. Prior to that change, the fee for this group of buyers was 2.75%. So their fee went down to get that mortgage from 2.75 on average for that type of person with that type of credit score down to 1.5%, making it more affordable to get that loan. Okay, all right. That's a noble cause. That means someone purchasing a $200,000 home would pay an LLPA fee of $3,000 under the new structure, down from $5,000 previously. So they're still paying fees, but it's less from $5,000 to $3,000. But some purchasers won't get as good a deal as they did before. It's the flip side of this, right? For instance, home buyers with credit scores of 740 to 759, considered very good, and putting down 20%, will face a new LLPA of 1% compared to 0.5 previously. For the purchase of a $200,000 home, that means the fee will double to $2,000. And so why is this change drawing criticism? That's pretty obvious at this point. All right, so here we go. Axe Analysis, thanks for the comment here. I appreciate it. I love having an interactive show. Seems like the FHFA adjustments result in a no-win situation. Those with higher credit scores, lower debt face higher costs. Low credit, high debt borrowers aren't even likely to get a conventional loan. Thank you for your comment. I really appreciate that. And I do believe there is a lot of truth in what you just said. I do. I don't know why this is necessary. If you want my personal opinion for just 30 seconds here, guys, here's my economic rant for 30 seconds on what I believe, but what do I know, right? But here you go. You asked for it. Actually, you didn't, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. Here we go. I believe that maybe we should try to curtail inflation first. And if we curtailed inflation, then our dollar would be worth a little more, and purchasing power of all Americans would be a little more, and you can buy that more bread and more food and more, energy costs, utilities, heat your house, cool your house, whatever, and it wouldn't be as big of a dent in your wallet. That's what I believe we should do. Well, how do you go about curtailing inflation? Now we're starting to do that a little bit, which is good. Inflation is starting to come down from where it was, obviously, June of last year at its height at 9.1%, which is really high. But how do you do that? Well, what's the definition of inflation? The definition of inflation is when you have too much money chasing too little consumer goods. Too much money chasing too little consumer goods. Okay. And if that's the case, then what that means is that we should stop injecting as much money into the economy when we may not need all that money injected into the economy, because it has enough money injected. There's help wanted signs everywhere across America. So how do we? So let's let some of that money sit in the sidelines. Whether you're printing it or whether you're getting it from somewhere else through taxes, whatever, and let's let the money that's in the economy work through the economy, and then hopefully work its way out. Now, in that interim, there could be some short-term pain. I get that for certain individuals across America, and obviously no one wants to inflict pain on anybody. But we're in this mess primarily because the Federal Reserve never raised the rates. Just a little bit. Back in 2021, things were just going gangbusters. They kept the rates too low, too long. And that's, in my humble opinion, why we got to where we are. But I think we should try to really work on inflation first, and then it will be more affordable for everybody, even the person who has a 630 FICO score. Okay, I'm done. But there you go. That's my opinion on it, and I'm sticking to it at least for the time being. But if you have an alternate opinion, I'd love to hear it, and I can certainly be swayed. That's for sure. So here we go, guys. Let's share my screen, and we're going to jump back in to talking about the next subject, which is the housing market. Guys, we're going to hit this really quick, okay? OfferPad, Open Door, Zillow, iBuyers. These are all iBuyers. These are people who go directly to the seller, right? And they try to convince them to sell their house. Okay, fair enough. And they try to cut out the middleman. Well, the only way you can do that is by making a profit. Therefore, you have to buy the house at some sort of discount to be able to then put it back on the market and sell it to make a profit after you pay fees for selling the property. They got clobbered, absolutely clobbered over the last 6 months to 12 months. Clobbered. I mean, they lost so much money. I don't know. People are questioning the viability of their long-term status as a company moving forward. That is Opendoor and OfferPad. Zillow already lost over $300 million. They got out, and now they're focusing on their core business, which has always been trying to help buyers connect to homes, right? So OfferPad's still in the game. Opendoor is still in the game. Barely, they're hanging on. But here you go. And this is the iBuyers, and this is OfferPad specifically saying that, look, they now are in a position where, hey, they might be able to get back to some sort of balance on their balance sheet of supply and demand inventory they're holding, and now maybe be able to move forward in selling and buying more properties, which is their business model. We shall see. They could be too financially hurt to where it doesn't matter. OfferPad has recently partnered with Zillow too as well, which is interesting. That's a whole other conversation. We could have a whole YouTube live on just that partnership and what that looks like for the consumer. Not a huge fan, but we can talk about that. You can always text me. You can always comment. I'll hit you up. We have a conversation or whatever on the side. No problem. But here we go. What stands out is the huge bulge of excessive homes that they bought at high prices during Q2 of 2022. They bought way too many homes when the market was getting ready to go down. With over 400 active listings and only 50 or so under contract, they clearly had a severe problem. And they focused all their efforts on selling rather than buying to unload this inventory at a huge discount, a huge loss. And their active count is down by almost 97%. That is huge, okay? But I love this. But it must feel a lot better to have the inventory problem in the rearview mirror rather than in front of them, which you can see by this graph. And so hopefully, potentially, I don't know, they may have a chance to recover. We shall see. But their market share is so tiny because they lost so much money. I don't know. Guys, and here's the thing. When did these iBuyers come around? They came around 2013, 14, right? Well, the market since then has all been doing this, going up. So now they've experienced the market going down, and no one seemed to underwrite these companies that were giving them private equity capital in a down market. And now we found out what happened, obviously, the past 12 months. So we'll see what the viability of these companies are for the next future here. Keep an eye on them for you on YouTube Live, Everything Phoenix. Here we go. The next graph, sales per year. Well, that's interesting, right? Look at that graph. Are prices going up? They are going up. Prices are going up, even though sales per year are going down. Why? Because all the media outlets talk about is demand. That's all they talk about. And I've been saying this forever, but the Cromford report agrees with me. Here's what they say. The media have been full of stories the last 6 months about the shortage of home buyers. Okay. They have devoted very little coverage, meaning low demand. They have devoted very little coverage to the shortage of home sellers over the same period, i.e. supply, which is in fact far more extreme and is having a bigger impact on or effect on the market. Between April and October last year, we had plenty of sellers because those who saw the properties as investments were keen to avoid the risk of a major drop in value. Those were joined by the iBuyers who just fire sold everything, right? Okay, in any case, this all started to reverse in November, and we now have a real problem getting enough homes listed on the MLS. If your home has an existing mortgage, the odds are high that it has a much lower interest rate than anything available today. So unless you really have to move, it makes more financial sense potentially to stay put and avoid redeeming that bargain mortgage only to replace it with a much more expensive one. Many are choosing to upgrade or expand their home instead, okay? So here, check this out. Here are the numbers. Look at this. Homes listed by price range. This is the supply and demand effect, right? Homes listed under 225 are down 52%. Listed supply. We're talking supply now, guys, because the media never focused on supply because apparently supply is not very sexy. Demand is. And so they talk about demand up or down. Oh my goodness, no one's buying a home because rates are too high. So we must have a huge problem and all these home values must be going down. Well, maybe in other areas of the country, maybe, can't speak for them. But in Phoenix, Arizona, that is not the case. Home prices had done a V bounce since the last week of 2022. And the entire time of 2023, almost, it's been a little yo-yo, obviously, but it's going this way. So prices have continued to climb in most areas, not every area, most areas of Maricopa County, the greater Phoenix metro area. Homes listed between 225 and 275 are down 64%. Between 275 and 350 are down 47%. Between 350 and 500 down 55. You guys get the point here. They are down, 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 down until you get to the ultra luxury market. Homes listed between 2 million and 3 million are up 9%. They're up 9%. And over 3 million, up 14%. That's interesting. But Kelly, I thought the luxury market was doing really well in Phoenix. Guys, it actually is. And then they go ahead and comment and they back me up here. The drop in available supply is most severe in the price ranges below 600. It is only slightly better between 6 and 1.5 million. Once you reach 2 million, we have no real shortage. There is more choice available today at the beginning of November. However, demand has held up quite well at these higher price ranges. So, supply has actually increased a little bit over the past, since November 1st, past 6 months or so. But so is demand on the higher end. Demand has gone up on the higher end. Demand has not done as well, kind of faltered, been a little slow or down or flat on the lower end. Why? Well, I think a lot of people are understanding that the housing market in Phoenix is a good place to live, a good place to invest, good place to work, et cetera, et cetera. And so, if they're living in California, Seattle, these places that have high taxes and things of that nature, they're saying, you know what, I could get still a much cheaper home, same type of home for much cheaper, luxury home for much cheaper, and have less taxes when I sell and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go ahead and make that move to Arizona. And so they're paying cash for multi-million-dollar properties in Paradise Valley and Scottsdale and other places across the valley that do have these multi-million-dollar homes. All right, Cromford Market Index, check it out. It is green, 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 green all across the board, guys. It is. It's been this way, as you guys know, when you follow this channel. It's pretty crazy. Now, this is from May 4th, about a week ago, and so this will come out again here probably in another couple of days. But at some point, this will start to go red across the board somewhere because you are just getting into really strong sellers markets in some places across the valley, like Chandler. Chandler 246. That's a strong sellers market because as you guys know, the Cromford market, as I report right here, the CMI balance is 90 to 110. 90 to 110 is balanced. Anything below 90 is a buyer's market. Anything above 110 is a seller's market on the Cromford Market Index. Well, here you go, 246. That is just a huge seller's market, guys. And you got 231 in Glendale, Fountain Hills. You can see it. These cities are just pretty strong right now on the seller side if you're looking to sell your property. Still a great time. Why? Because supply is down, prices are holding, and most people are choosing not to sell because of the fact they have a 2.75 percent mortgage rate and they don't want to give that up. But what if? Let's just talk about this for a second, okay? What if you wanted to move, but you didn't want to because you have that great rate? Well, how about this thought? We love investing in real estate. I'm passionate about it here at Cook and Associates Real Estate Advisors. We are calling advisors self-proclaimed, but we really are, right? Because we love advising people on the total picture of real estate. That includes investing. I'm an investor myself. Many agents on our team are investors as well. So if you have that house, your rate's 3%. Right now, if you go out and get a mortgage, it's 6.5%. So I really would love to upsize and get that extra bedroom because we had an extra kid in addition to our family, or whatever the case may be. I would like to upsize or maybe move to that other better neighborhood because it has a better school district for my child, or whatever the case may be. And I just can't. I won't. Why? Because my rate now is 3%, and I have to get 6.5%. It doesn't make sense to do that. Okay, no argument there. That's a good argument. I get it. But what if you wanted to create maybe a real estate portfolio, an investment portfolio? At a current mortgage rate, wherever you're at 3%, chances are, somewhere in Phoenix, that your house would cash flow if you chose to rent it out. So let's just say an example, you went to another property, and that property, because the higher rate and because it's probably a little more expensive in value potentially, your current monthly payment went up $700 a month. First of all, can you afford it? If you can, great. Now that's check, that box is checked. But what if the cash flow, because your rate's so low on the house you currently own, from what you could rent your current house out at, if you held on to it and didn't sell it, what if that cash flow is $700 a month? That cash flow on the house that you live in right now could literally pay for maybe the difference in your higher payment with the higher interest rate on the house you really want to be in. That is something that potentially could be a solution for a client that you may have if you're an agent watching this, or if you're just a buyer or seller, potentially just someone out there watching this YouTube live. Maybe that's something you were thinking about doing. We would love to talk to you. We'd love to help and put together a strategy. That's what an advisor is. And so we enjoy being advisors, not just agents when it comes to real estate. So hit us up, DM on social media, email, call. We'd love to chat with you guys about that if that's something you are potentially thinking about doing, or you feel stuck because you have that low rate, but you'd like to move. you have an option. We'd love to run those numbers for you. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen because there's a lot of other cool stuff here to go over. How about this article right here? Actually, you know what? Let's check out what rates are doing. The CPI came out May 10th. We talked about that a lot on this channel too. May 10th, the Consumer Price Index came out, and guess what it did? It went down. This is good. Not much. Went down to 4.9% off the high of 9.1 June 2022. This is good. Inflation is starting to continue to move down. That's what we need. However, core CPI, which is the same index for the most part, excluding some of the more volatile measures like energy and food, actually went up. I think it was 0.4%, just a little bit, but it did go in the wrong direction. That's not good. What does that mean? Potentially that the road to recovery on this whole inflation thing could still be a little bumpy in the short term, at least. However, mortgage rates responded nicely. And as you can see on my screen, the 30-year fix is now down to 6.5, let's call it. It was up around 6.7, 6.8 just a few days ago. So that is good, guys. Hopefully, we'd love to see Phoenix, that rate get down to around 6. 5 is probably too much to ask for, but if it gets around 6, we've seen properties move. Consumers say, okay, that's not bad. It's doable. I'll go and buy that house. So hopefully we can see that get down a little lower. That'd be great, but we'll see what happens. We'll monitor it. You guys know we'll do that every single week. We touch on this, and you'll know what's going on to make the best decisions. All right, this article right here, though, is interesting because our bidding war is coming back to the housing market. This is interesting because we just talked about very low supply. Therefore, with demand being just average, the prices are holding steady and even increasing in some areas of town. And so this is just talking about on a national scale that 48% of homes sold nationally during 4 weeks ending in April 30th went under contract within 2 weeks, down from 51% a year earlier, but up from 46% a month prior. Now, what I wanted to get to here is this quote in here, which I thought was very interesting. The total number of homes for sale also declined in the past 4 weeks, suggesting buyers are snatching up homes faster than they are being replenished by new listings. Guys, we have a supply issue. In Phoenix alone, there's certain reports and measurements stating that we are about 270,000 homes minimum below where we should be to really support all the population growth, etc., that is coming. So home builders hopefully will continue to build and build and build. And then you can get some reports that even say up to as much as 700,000 housing units short of where we should be on a supply basis. So we're going to continue having these issues, and until rates come down to where all these people who have 2.5%, 3% mortgages feel comfortable leaving that mortgage, we're going to continue to have some supply constraints, keeping prices where they're at, if not even going up. So for the same argument, guys, that you're thinking about maybe waiting because you're waiting for prices to come down, rates to come down, whatever it may be. If you believe, well, I'm going to wait because prices are going up. Well, if that's the case, then why not jump in now if you can afford the house? Because you just said prices are going up. You believe prices are going up, so I'm going to wait. How about if prices going up, I jump in and ride that wave for a little while until hopefully they come back down? Well, I'll just wait till they come back down. Well, and you could do that. There were a lot of people saying the same thing in quarter 4 of 2020, and look what happened 2021 and 2022. Just an incredible run of price appreciation in the Phoenix area and nationally as well. Okay, so I want to hit that with you guys, and then let's go over here. This is interesting. All right, we talked about this in our headline here. It's come down to this. Tempe voters will decide the future of Arizona Coyotes franchise. Now, this is not just about the hockey team. This is about development in Tempe and a huge opportunity for the city of Tempe, and potentially if you're an investor, maybe a huge opportunity for you because there's going to be a lot of potential housing units, high-end condos being built here that you know are going to appreciate in value from whatever number they come out at, that they pre-sell them at, they're going to go up in value. So there's an opportunity there. Or if you just want to live in that area because it's such a cool location, right? But here's what it talks about. There was an NHL draft, right, just a few days ago. And now, 8 days later, on May 16th, comes another step in the ongoing saga of whether the Coyotes will stay in Arizona. May 16th is when Tempe voters will decide, coming up right here in just a few days, if this project is going to move forward, okay? There are 48 acres of city-owned land that is currently a landfill and turning it into a $2.3 billion project that would include, most notably, a new arena for the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Alex Morello, who's the owner, this guy has a lot of money, and he's really pushing hard for this. And you know what? Good for him. I hope this goes through. This would be fantastic for not just the hockey team, but for the city of Tempe, the development. I just think it'd be fantastic personally. It's a really cool project. You've seen renderings on the show before. I've showed you about this project. But there's the owner right there, Alex, and there's the Coyotes, and it talks about the city, council. But here's the big thing. I'll cut it. There's the NHL commissioner who came in town to go to the city council vote. Here's the thing in a nutshell. Here's the map. You guys know I love maps. I love my visual learner. Hopefully you guys are too. Okay. Arizona State University right here. Okay. Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Downtown Phoenix is over here off the map. We're going to zoom in. So here's Tempe Town Lake. A lot of development along Tempe Town Lake. We're going to keep going. And this plot of land right here is the old landfill. So right now it's a huge liability for the city of Tempe. And now with the Phoenix Coyotes, I keep calling Phoenix, the Arizona Coyotes coming to potentially be there, that whole acre plot right here on the Salt River, even though there's no water there right now, would be huge. Arena, entertainment district, living, high-end living. But the city of Phoenix doesn't like it because, as you saw, right here are the two runways for Sky Harbor Airport. But obviously, if somebody wants to live there, they will know that planes landing and taking off will be part of the lifestyle you will live and part of the sacrifice you will have of living in one of the coolest locations in all of Phoenix, because that would be pretty rad. Yes, I said rad. Absolutely. So there you go. That's the deal. And we'll be interested to see what happens. Now, this gentleman here who wrote this article up next, his view is that, what are we doing? We need to pass this thing. Oh, there's the rendering. Look how cool that'd be, guys, right there. It's currently a landfill. It's going to take about $223 million to clean up, but it's going to be at $2.3 billion to build. So it's a liability that's costing the city of Tempe money every single year to just, when these landfills get closed, there's still ongoing costs to maintain, it doesn't get out of control, right? And so the whole thing would be cleaned up. This would go on that land, and what a cool district that would be in a prime location. So hopefully that goes through. But this guy is saying it will turn, a landfill into a landmark. City of Phoenix will be on the map. This editor right here. And so I agree. I hope it goes through. Okay, moving on, guys. We're going to cover a couple more things. We'll be out of here. So stay with us. I'll keep you entertained as best as I possibly can for the next time that we have. All right, so here we go. Oh, let's go here. Traffic. If you're going to move to Phoenix, you probably want to know how traffic works. Well, the West Valley is a problem with traffic right now, specifically on the West Valley. So right now, we're talking specifically this map right here. This is Arizona State Route, the Loop 303 on the outskirts of the Northwest Valley. And you have Grand Road, which goes at a funky 45-degree angle all the way out to Las Vegas, right? But it cuts through the city of Phoenix all the way to downtown, which is kind of cool as a thoroughfare to get at an angle to downtown, but a lot of lights, a lot of traffic. And this is a problem with all of the traffic right here. Cars get backed up every which way all the time because there's no overpass. It's crazy. Well, there is, I guess, an overpass to an extent, but it's not like they want to reroute some traffic. This is what this is about. This is one of the many congested areas within the Northwest Valley that this article specifically is referring to. So you have on top of that, you have this right here. This is the BNSF railway that is having a huge complex right out here. They're looking to bring with industrial and all kinds of stuff because of the rail line that cuts through there. Well, there's that Grand Avenue, and that's going to be right up in here. So that's going to create even more traffic. So they're trying to get ahead of this and get the traffic patterns figured out with some better roads. So that's coming, hopefully, with a vote with the city of Surprise. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to cover here real quick is the judge. What the judge decided to do for the Phoenix Suns and their TV rights. If you're local here and you love the Phoenix Suns, who, by the way, play Game 6 tonight in the playoffs versus the Nuggets, they're down 3-2. They have to win to stay alive in the playoffs. Go Suns. Let's go. Got to get that win tonight at home. But on a side note, the Suns are dealing with this TV issue. Bally Sports is in chapter, 11, bankruptcy. And a current judge in Texas just said that you cannot move forward with the other TV company, the media company, which, by the way, is the parent company of, it's called Gray, of KTV, of Arizona Family 3 TV, Arizona Family CBS 5, and AZ Family Sports Network. and they want to broadcast the Suns. The Suns want to be on their network, not Bally Sports. But they have one more year on the contract with Bally Sports. They're trying to get out of it early. And this bankruptcy judge in Texas says, nope, they shut it down. So they have to maintain their negotiations to keep their network TV rights with Bally Sports for one more season upcoming. So that kind of stinks because Bally Sports does not play nice with some of the providers like Hulu and I think DirecTV. I think YouTube TV, they might be on there, but not all of them. So it kind of stinks, right? Rather be on the local Gray Sports media company because they're on all the channels and all those channels are on all the providers. So anyways, there you go. That's your Phoenix Suns update. Go Suns, playoffs, game 6 tonight. This is a cool article, I thought. Hot air balloon company starts work on the West Valley headquarters. Guys, you know hot air balloon is amazing to do? Did you know it's one of the top 10 things in yours truly's video, the top 10 things to do in all of Phoenix? It's on the list in one of the top 10 things. So it's very cool. And they're looking to obviously have a new headquarter for hot air balloon rides because it's a big business here in Phoenix. You see the whole valley is beautiful, very little wind, works really well. And so that's pretty cool. Another business coming up to Phoenix. All right. This is kind of cool. We'll go really fast through these last remaining few guys, and we'll get you out of here. But thanks for participating. Speaking of which, here we go. Abby, boo! I don't know what you're saying boo to, but I like it, so I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Boo, boo. And then Lori, thank you for joining as always. Go Suns. Yes, go Suns. Got to get that win tonight. Stay alive in the playoffs. All right, Swiss shipping company Leases a new Tempe tower, plans to hire 170 people. Now, this is going to be really quick. Why is this important? Why did I put it in this YouTube live? Because it's the largest shipping company in the world. That's right. Mediterranean Shipping Co., headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, leased out 28,000 square feet in this building here in Tempe. There's Tempe again, with 170 new employees to work at this office in the spring of 2024. This is important. Why? Because that puts Phoenix, especially Tempe, on the map as a logistical center, a hub to an extent across world shipping, because the Mediterranean Shipping Company decided to set up shop here in Tempe. So pretty darn cool. One more thing that's putting Phoenix on the map as a major, cool, awesome city. Okay, this is not as good news. Intel is laying off some people, guys, if you haven't heard. They're laying off 75 more workers in its Bay Area headquarters. Now, currently in Arizona, because Intel is based out of Chandler, the Silicon Valley of the Southwest, Chandler, Arizona. And they have a lot of employees there. I think like 12,000. Yeah, 12,000 people in Arizona. Right here it is. Are based on the Ocotillo campus in South Chandler. No layoffs or notices so far with any of those people at Intel. That's good. But why are they doing this? Well, because Intel lost, $2.8 billion last quarter. That's why. And before that, it lost $664 million quarter 4 of 2022. So they're trying to shave some costs and get back in the black, if you will, and rebound and move forward and grow off of that. Speaking of which, you may want to know who are the top employers in the largest employers, not necessarily the top employers in all of Arizona. Well, you asked for it. Here you go. Just really fast. Banner Health and their systems, Banner Health Systems, the number one largest employer in the entire state of Arizona. We'll hit the top 10 or 20 here really fast. Amazon, State of Arizona, Walmart, Arizona State University, number 5. Number 6, Fry's Food Stores. Fry's is owned by Kroger, parent company Kroger. University of Arizona, Dignity Health Arizona, another health care. City of Phoenix, big city. Wells Fargo, Honor Health, Maricopa County, Intel. There's Intel right there with 12,000 employees. American Express, big campus in North Phoenix. Maricopa County Community College Districts, okay. U.S. Postal Service, Grand Canyon, J.P. Morgan Chase, Mayo Clinic, Freeport, Mac Moran, top 20. That rounds it out. And then Bank of America 21 ranking at 9,000 employees. And here comes Honeywell. I could keep going on, but I won't. But that gives you a nice idea. If you want the whole list of 100, let me know. I can fire that off to you. All right. Speaking of which, the wealthiest zip codes in all of Phoenix just came out. And here you go. I should say Maricopa County. Paradise Valley, number 1. Duh. That's the easy one. They only have one zip code. That's why they're number 1. Scottsdale, 85262. Number one, total population of 12,701. That is north Scottsdale on the map. Okay. Scottsdale 85266. Again, north Scottsdale with you see the per capita income, the whole 9 yards. Kind of cool to see these numbers, I think. We'll do the top five. Phoenix 85045. Okay, that's North Phoenix coming in high there. And then you have 85083 in Phoenix as well. 85083, guys. Guess what is being built in 85083? Right, I think it's actually in that zip code, if not right next to it. But I'm pretty sure it's right in that zip code. TSMC, Taiwan Semi Manufacturing Company, that huge plant we've been talking about, right there in 85083. That might have a little something to do with the wealth increasing in that zip code. Matter of fact, I heard that TSMC has a standard or requirement for anyone who works at that plant that you have to live, I believe, within 10 miles of the plant. So if you are an investor, a speculator, you might consider purchasing some real estate in that area around that TSMC manufacturing company because there's going to be a lot of employees that have a good amount of money, all right, working right there. And then why not speak number 6? I can't help myself. 85284, the city of Tempe. There's Tempe again on the map. You got to love the city of Tempe coming in strong. Matt, what's going on? Here we go. Due to the Tempe Town Lake project and other businesses relocating there, do you think Tempe is one of the better investment areas now in the Phoenix metro? Absolutely, Matt, I do. And that's a great question. And that is just one more reason why it is a good investment to be there. I have a feeling if this doesn't pass for some reason, something else is going to go there sometime soon. It's a matter of time, because if the city of Tempe can turn that landfill, which is liability, it's costing money every single month, into a huge plus, because I think the amount of money that's going to come from the entertainment district alone and tax revenue is in the $1 million mark every single year from the city of Tempe. That's enormous. So I just don't understand why you'd pass up on that if you can, if you don't have to, right? And the NHL, guys, is committed to having the Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes, stay somewhere in the city of Phoenix, because they've had multiple bids from offers from Canadian billionaires, et cetera, to move the team, and the NHL has stepped in every time to try to mitigate that, to keep them in Phoenix. They're committed to this city because hockey actually is pretty popular in all of Phoenix. All right, just to wrap this up, let's see here. We got a couple more things. I always like to put something in the end, guys, and I did it for you here. And this one right here is kind of cool. We have a franchise, a new franchise that's coming to Phoenix, by the way. This is not it. I'm going to hit that here in a second. But there's this headline is interesting. Okay. Water. Okay. Water. We always talk about water. It seems like when we come on a YouTube live about Phoenix, but why not? Okay. This study is saying that the West Valley, for the future growth rate over the next, by 2020, 2060, will be short the amount of groundwater specifically to tap into to use for the current growth of the West Valley. But then you come down here and you say, then the rest of the article goes on to say, hold on, that's not necessarily the case. We are with the technology and with different housing subdivisions being built with technology to use reclaimed water for certain things like plants and the water they use, toilet water, things of that nature in a house. That they don't see that being a problem as we move forward in the future. Depends who you talk to. There's a panel of people talking about it and all the things they're going to solve about it and so on and so forth. I'm running out of time here, guys, so I'm not going to go much deeper in this. We will hit water again and again and again. Right now, there's a lot of development going on in West Valley, guys, a lot of development. And getting the water is right now not a concern to a lot of these people who are spending a lot of money. Now, in 2060, who knows, right? I can't say for sure. But again, there are people who say that we have plenty of acre feet to be able to use for the future growth of Phoenix in the West and East Valley. But again, it all depends on what happens. Even the next 5 years will change what that projection is a lot, right? Because even technology and water reclamation and all that stuff is going to help tremendously when it comes to conserving water for Phoenix. So the jury's still out. We'll see what happens. But last but not least, guys, I threw this in here real quick. Reusable container manufacturing building, new facility in the West Valley. Again, West Valley is coming in strong with all this industrial, and they're going to hire 100 more jobs. So one more company coming to Phoenix. And last but not least, the new restaurant chain. Oh, that's kind of cool. Daddy's Chicken Shack. right? It's coming. And actually, the old founder of Remax is the one who's the main investor behind it. But they're bringing, I believe, 12, or no, excuse me, 10 franchise locations to the Phoenix area. And Scottsdale will have the first one. And I believe that's set to open up. There's the old owner there. I believe it's set to open up here. Yep, May 18th, around the corner. So this is going to be at 1107 North Scottsdale Road. Call it, Central Scottsdale-ish, and it's set for 4 p.m. on May 18th. So if you like Daddy's Chicken Shack or want some, fast food chicken, check it out. See if you like it. There's going to be about 9 more coming to the Phoenix Valley here soon. Axe, thanks for asking the question. Here we go. What's been going on in Chandler? The Cromford Index has been close to 254 weeks. And Axe, that's right. Right now, because of the higher paying jobs, there's a lot of jobs in Chandler that are higher paying. Okay. And because of the lack of supply in Chandler, meaning the fact that you have so many people that just have these low interest rates that aren't selling. If maybe for next week, what I'll do is I'll pull a chart of Chandler and maybe some of the specific zip codes within Chandler, and you'll be able to see the supply literally nosediving. It just isn't there. And so when you have these companies like Intel not laying off people in Chandler, and other companies hiring more people in Chandler, and even people who don't live in Chandler, it's a great place to live. If you have a family, it is a phenomenal suburb to live in. A lot to do, and just really family oriented. It's a great place to live if you don't work in Chandler, or maybe even don't work even that close to Chandler. People still choose to live there because of the school system and the family oriented culture that Chandler has when it comes to raising a family. So that being said, the lack of supply is hurting those the people that the buyers in terms of affordability. And so the sellers, when they choose to sell, are making out really nice, and that's really pushing the CMI up pretty high on Chandler. So thanks for the observation. Thanks for the question. That's a really good observation. All right. Last question here. Hey, Matt, Slim Chickens is launching in AZ this year too. I didn't know that. Here we go. Midwest chicken chain. Should be a couple popping up over the next year. You know what? That's interesting because you got Slim Chickens, you got Daddy's Chicken Shack, and then you have that new concept coming here as well, where they're talking about putting in 75 locations over the entire Phoenix area over the next 5 years, and that is Hawaiian Bros. Hawaiian Bros, which is almost like a Samurai Sam's type. It's chicken healthy, rice, quick food, that sort of thing. That's coming too. So a lot of chicken. Maybe being a chicken farmer could be a good investment, or owning some of that. I don't know. Maybe you don't have to be a chicken farmer, but maybe going in with a chicken farmer on being the money source. I don't know. Now I'm just losing my mind here because I'm not doing that, but maybe somebody should, because chicken is apparently really popular and healthy. So guys, thank you very much as always. I really appreciate you for joining us on YouTube Live, Everything Phoenix. We're here every Thursday for your education and enjoyment and entertainment, hopefully. And guys, until next time, be good. I'll come up with a slogan at some point, but until then, stay classy, Phoenix.